Probably gonna get that in there. Oh gosh, wow. Okay. All right, you ready?
I am ready.
All right. What's up, guys? It's me, Millennial Mac, and I got a special guest on the channel. I got my boy, Julian, also known as CJTV, also known as Conrad, also known as... What other nickname do you have?
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay,
CJ.
just kidding. I said them all. Yep. So, we are back. We are back with another episode of Guy Talk. This one is going to be very interesting. This one is actually going to be about being African in America. So, Julian, go ahead and tell them kind of who you are, where you're from, so they can get a better idea, and then we'll just take it from there, okay?
All right, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is, like he said, Julian, and I do go by CJ. My channel is CJTV on YouTube. Be sure to follow me on there as well. I'm sure you're going to put all the information in the description below.
I got you.
That's my guy right there. So, yeah, I've been here in the United States for about, like, 14 years. Moved here from Ghana, born and raised there, and yeah, came over. The first place I lived was in Chicago, and then from there we came to Jacksonville, Florida, which is home, and now I'm up northeast.
Wow.
All day. But yeah, currently living up northeast, so yeah.
Okay.
Out there.
So how long were you living in Africa before you came here again?
14 years. 14 years.
Okay, also, you know what it's like to like really live up there also.
Sure.
So I have some questions about being African in America. All right. I love it. Isn't that so weird? Like, because we always say African American, but being African in America.
That's different.
So
different.
One thing that I want to ask is just the first thing that like, comes to your mind. What is so different about Africans that were born in America?
Okay.
AKA me, African American, compared to you being someone that was born in Africa. What differences would you say there are?
I would say the major difference would have to be like a lot of custom and traditions. Yeah. So like there are certain things, you know, when it comes to an adult, how you go about relating with them is different versus like how you guys would probably relate to, you know, like your aunt, your uncle, or your mom or your dad. Like for us being born and raised with those like customs and traditions, it's like, you know, you greet a certain way. You can't use your left hand to give something over to somebody who's older than you because it's a sign of disrespect. So many things in that regards, stuff like that. Whereas like, I mean, I'm not, you know, saying one is better than the other, but it's just like how people are being raised and stuff like that. So,
how people being raised. See?
Yeah.
Really? So how do they raise them kids in Africa? They beat them kids. Spare
sure,
not the rod.
They sure do. We definitely do not spare the rod because then you're going to spoil the
child. Haha. Wow.
Yeah,
so y'all are more Bible-based than anything.
For sure.
Now tell them you're from Ghana, correct?
Correct.
Awesome.
I lived there for 14 years.
And you speak a different language, right?
I do. Will I say fluently? Probably not, but I understand a lot. I understand like 3 languages and speak 2 decently.
What language do you speak?
So I speak English. I'm just kidding. So I speak English, I speak Twi, and I speak Sele. So Sele is like actual dialect for the people from the Volta region in Ghana.
Wow, okay, awesome. So my question is for you, since I know you are a man of faith, like you said, you know, man of faith, love my boy. I met Julian way back in college. Awesome.
UCF.
I want to know, what is the difference? I think they all want to know. What is the difference between Christianity in Africa and Christianity in America?
The major difference between the two would just have to be level of intensity.
Oh, yeah.
Because the reason why I would say that is if we want to get spiritual, I would say the witchcraft, you know, stuff.
Talk about it, somebody.
It's different in Africa than it is here. So, like, you know, that would have to be just the intensity. The intensity that Christians back home exercise their faith is different from the intensity that Christians here exercise their faith.
Right. Because I've been to African churches, and I know some of them preachers, pastors, prophets, they don't play.
Right. Especially when it comes to prayer.
They will pray up the place like what? And they will probably slap the demon out of you. Like they will actually slap the demon out of you. And I remember the first time I went to African church was with you. Yeah, it was the first time. And I remember That guy was going around. He was
Actually, I
like
do
hanging with
remember that.
everybody.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was not playing,
Right.
and I was like, whoa. The worship, though. I personally feel like people in Africa, they just know how to worship God.
Right.
Like, really, really worship God. Because in America, and I don't even want to say in America, because I'm pretty sure that's like everywhere else, there's always a time. We do 30-minute worship. We do this. After that, then we do this. We do that, whatever. And now, of course, there are those exceptions where some churches are like, okay, yeah, we're going to make sure that we just let the Spirit of God flow, which is amazing, but we don't really see that much. Like, we're on a time limit, this, that, whatever. And them African churches,
It's different.
yo, y'all just go as long as y'all want to go. You know what I mean? Which is great, though. It's because you're not grieving the Holy Spirit. So I know that's another big thing. You know, we could go really in depth on this, like fasting and praying. And I can only imagine people in Africa, y'all be like for real, you know, in prayer and fasting, all that stuff. I just think that like African culture is just, it's more than, oh my gosh, like, than culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like culture is just so, I don't want to say like niche, but like compared to just being African, living in Africa, like it's a lifestyle in a sense, being African. I don't know, we go into that. I don't know. I think I'm just talking right now, really. But what is the common misconception that a lot of people get from you? Like, oh, you were born in Africa?
Right.
What is the common misconceptions that you get normally?
So, especially in high school, that's the first level of education I had when I moved here. So, in high school, a lot of people, you know, you get these jokes where it's like, oh, you live in huts, or you chase lions chase you, all this stuff. Or y'all probably fast because y'all be running from the lions, right? So, it's like, yeah, but it's totally different because, you know, granted, I'm not saying that doesn't exist in Africa, but that's like such a small scale of the broad Africa that people, unfortunately, based on what, you know, the media shows you is what they know here. But obviously now with the Year of Return and so many other like initiatives going on in Africa like that, you saw the celebrities who were in Ghana recently for that. And for those who don't know...
Yeah, so Year of Return, tell them about that, because I don't think everyone will know what that is.
Right, so the Year of Return is kind of like celebrating all the people, the diaspora of Africa, living anywhere else outside of Africa, and especially in the Western world, and bringing them and inviting them home, because 400 years ago, 2019, 400 years ago marked when the slave trade and all that stuff, so slaves left the country of Ghana and were taken to the Western world and stuff like that. So they invited like major celebrities, Beyonce, Ludacris, T.I. was out there, Cardi B, you name it. All these celebs were out there, and even the guy from Blackish, Anthony, I forget his last name. Yeah, so all of them were out there in their numbers. Kobe, well, he's Ghanaian, but yeah, name it. They were out there, had a good time, and I feel like that was very great because we all got to come back home, like, you know, our roots and where we're from. It's a different kind of feeling you have when you like visit the places that you're actually from and see what your ancestors went through, what it lived like, and how life is there. And I think like anytime being back home in Ghana, it just rejuvenates me differently. Granted, that's home for me, but then again, like that's a lot of roots for people too. So the vibe in Africa is always different.
Yeah.
I was hurt that I missed the Year of Return this time around, but yeah, I hope to, you know, visit home again soon.
Yeah, no, definitely. What about the food?
We started on the food, boy. So anyways, my favorite African or Ghanaian dish is like banku and okra soup. For those who don't know.
Oh, banku.
Like,
yes. Just playing. I don't know what banku is, but
I gotta get him on that. It's crazy good. Like we got so many diverse things, and I know one that is very common here will probably be the jollof, the Ghana jollof versus the Nigerian jollof. Yes, I'm gonna talk about it because I am Ghanaian, and they both good. But then again, like I said, I'm Ghanaian, so the Ghana jollof takes the W. The Nigerian jollof comes in second, a strong second.
okay, all right. Hey, look, yeah, we talking about jollof and tree, and we learning a whole bunch today in the Millennial Mac channel. Wow, look at that. Okay, cool. So then, Julian, I want to know then, what are exactly, like, how was it kind of transitioning into being an American, being born in Africa? Because I can only imagine, like, the friends, like, was it easy making friends, or was it easy learning English, or did you already learn English? Like, kind of tell us about that.
So making friends, I think that's just different for each person. For me, not really. It wasn't difficult or hard. It is what it is. The people you vibe with, you vibe with. Those you don't, right? So I'm not the type of guy to like force anything. So if I vibe with you, I vibe with you. If I don't, I don't. So when I first came, this one dude who made fun of me, like we were really, really good friends, which was funny. And then this other lady who also made fun of me, we ended up being really good friends. So I just felt like it's just each person's personality. But in terms of English, we speak English back in Africa. So it's not anything I had to learn here per se. So it is what it is. Classes weren't, it wasn't difficult because we speak English. We take all these subjects back home. So it was a smooth transition in terms of education. But just like training people on what Africa is like or what Ghana is like and stuff like that. That's where it comes, you meet a little like, resistance there. Certain people don't want to learn. Other people do want to, not be ignorant and actually know what is actually out there.
So people still think that there are like lines and stuff like that out there?
Yeah, sadly, people still do. But I'm glad the narrative is changing because
For real?
Because of social media and all these things. Like, you get to see outside of what just the what
Animal Planet.
Right, or the broad media, or what's that mainstream media would say or send out there. So
man, okay. Yep. Well, what is one thing that you wish that America would instill that Africa like already has? Make them think.
Kind of did. Simple answer, just rich culture, man, and heritage. Like,
Do you think African Americans don't have culture?
I think they do, but I feel like they got to celebrate it more,
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I believe they definitely do. They, they strong in who they are, but they got to, celebrate more their heritage.
Okay. Yeah. I love, like, just, the colors and dashiki. What are your thoughts on that? African Americans wearing dashikis?
I love it.
Okay.
I mean, African Americans celebrating who they are as Africans who are in America.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, man. So, Julian, I want to know, what advice would you give to African Americans that, you would just want to give to them, kind of just up front?
I would say a lot of y'all should not be scared about Africa because I know there's like several misconceptions out there where it's like, oh, you go and, you don't come back, whatever type thing, where they feel like people would kidnap them, whatever. It's not like that at all. Like, being from Ghana and being raised there and, coming here, we just love people that are different from us. Granted, we love ourselves, but we also love people that are different from us. So we appreciate every person, and we just make sure, like, you have a good time when you're in our homeland. So I definitely advise, like, you guys should definitely take that trip out. Like, the summertime is nice. Granted, Africa is hot, so you got to get ready for all that stuff. But you always have such a blast, like.
That's awesome.
The African people are just amazing. The love is so real that you cannot. The moment you land in the airport, you experience it from the jump.
From the jump.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Well, hey, tell them about the merch that you got on.
Yeah, dope merch out here, Faith for the Elements. I'm gonna send you the information so you can post it all in there. She got some dope colors as well. I really like the yellow one, so. That.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in with Guy Talk, being African in America. Make sure to like and subscribe to the page. Also, I put my boy's information below. Just like and subscribe to his YouTube channel. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.